What's up, my doggies? Welcome back to another Escape From Tarkov video. I'm Kawn. Today I want to talk about stash space and saving space in your stash and the way that I personally organize my stash. I've got an awesome group of viewers on Twitch. It'd be an honor to have you join us. I've got an awesome group of people over on Discord, new players and veteran players who all like to help each other out. And I'm giving away an Edge of Darkness Tarkov account. All the details are down below as well as all my links. Let's jump right into the video. So stash space. Stash space is a really big problem, especially since they changed the flea market up until level 20. I know a lot of people had trouble with stash space, me personally as well, but I want to talk about after you get the flea market. After you have some cases, after you have a few boxes full of your stuff, how I do it and how like higher level players I think do it, but remember, this is my opinion. This is my personal way. You obviously will have different opinions and people will be out there that do it differently, and that's totally fine. And if you guys do it differently, let me know down in the comments below how you guys do it differently. Maybe I can learn a thing or two from you. Also, people might have different means, so not having as many cases, if you don't have a thick, you might not be able to do some of these things. If you don't have weapon cases, you might not be able to do some of these things, and that's okay. We all get there eventually with Tarkov, so please don't get mad at me in the comments saying like, oh, like not everybody's got a gamma, or not everybody's got a thick case, or not everybody has the money to buy all these cases. This is my personal way of doing it, and I hope you enjoy. With my stash, first thing, which I've talked about in a lot of other videos, I like to have a case line at the top and then a big open gap before I get into like some of my armors and stuff like that. Mainly I stash armors outside of my cases because they take up a decent amount of space, but I have the means to do so. What I usually do is I have two scav junk boxes. One is for, as you can see, labeled shit, so it's just for a bunch of random stuff, fuel containers, CPU fans, anything I'm trying to save up at the time. I usually fill this up with gunpowders that I'm crafting, and then eventually I sell them. I just did a big sellout, so I got rid of a bunch of them. Water filters, I always save up every wipe, so I always have a scav box filled with water filters that I don't sell. I use them in my hideout to craft super waters and then moonshine, and that's what I do with that. Money, I also just have a money case, which I put in my money case, but what I really want to talk about is the way that I organize my thicks and the way that I organize my items case. So I use my items case mainly for my headsets, for some helmets, and just like night visions and stuff like that. I try to just keep all of my little cosmetic items I like to wear. If you watch my stream, you know I like to wear hats. I don't really wear helmets all that often, so I'll usually put all that stuff in my eye case. Now inside my thick, I have all of my other cases. So inside of my thick items case, I have currently 4 weapons cases, and inside these weapons cases, I don't put weapons, I put mods. So I have two cases filled with mods that I eventually will use, for my builds, and I only keep mods that I typically use. SRDs for my mutants, XPS 0 is a good site, anything that I typically use, B25 use. X400 flashlights is my go-to flashlight, so anything that I use, I put in there. I also do certain things like putting my hammer scopes on like SVD low sights or receiver mounts, because what it does is it takes this hammer sight and turns it into a 1-slot item. So I'll throw that on there. You can also throw something like flashlights onto rails and stuff like that. That will save you a lot of space. But having all my cases inside of my thick basically turns all this space that would be used up by this space into just 1 slot. Now sometimes it's a pain when I'm trying to organize things, but if I come out of raid with a bunch of gear, what I'll usually do is open up my thick, throw the heals into there, throw the stims into there. I'll just use it as like a little, it's basically like a little organizational box. So once I open this up, it has all of my cases in it and I can just organize from here. So that's what I usually do. I also throw my backpack stack inside of my thick case, because everybody should have an infinite backpack stack that just goes forever and ever, because backpacks just take up way too much space if you were to actually do it that way. At the bottom, I have all of my Kappa items, because anything that I keep, I'm saving up, I will put at the bottom because I know that they're being used for quests, and I never really touch the bottom part, so those are all my Kappa items. I'm currently still looking for the rat poison and the evasion armband. Tough as hell. I can't find them, but whatever. We'll find them before we hit 62. So inside this, I have all of my mag cases, all my ammo boxes, my med cases, all my food cases, my infinite backpack stack, and all my keys. Now, try to get as many docs cases, many sick cases as you can, because it really makes things easier if you're trying to find keys to just have a sick case that is filled with all your certain stuff. So, for instance, this is my lab shoreline case. If I'm going lab shoreline, I'll take out the customs interchange one from my gamma. I'll throw in my labs shoreline, and I'll put my customs one back in there. So currently I'm going to be playing customs, so I keep my customs one inside my thick. I also like to keep a couple guns, mainly 5.7s and pistols, inside of a weapons case, but what I want to talk about is I have a specific weapons case filled with pistol grips. And the reason why I have these pistol grips here is because if you go over to my thick case, I have a bunch of red guns. Now, the reason why I have a bunch of red guns, I spoke about this previously in a video. In order to save space with guns especially, what you can do is, let's say I have this M4 with a pistol grip on it and a magazine. So here's my M4. It takes up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 14 slots for this M4. However, if you take out the mag out of the M4 and you take off the pistol grip, put in my pistol grip weapons case, it now becomes a 7 slot. So it now becomes a single slot, which I can then fit way more guns into my thick items case, or thick weapons case, sorry, or into any weapons case at all, or even just in my stash. It saves you tons and tons and tons of space. And then you have more space in your stash for armors or whatever it may be. If you guys enjoy these kinds of little tip videos, I'd really appreciate you dropping a like. And if you guys want to see more content, you know who to subscribe to. Peace, people.